Hello, my name is John Paul Jimenez. I am a junior accounting student at the University of South Florida, and I'm going to show you my Tableau project. Just here, I'm going to start with the data. So first, I'm organized the data. I sorted it. I made sure to have everything organized, and then I started by making some pivot tables. So I went by each product. Just to show the sales, price, variable costs, contribution margin, and contribution margin ratio. Then I highlighted which were the best salespeople, and by region, just to have a better understanding if maybe there's somebody that does better in a certain region. I showed all the states and their numbers as well, and finally just overall the regions from northwest or northeast all the way to the mid-Atlantic. And so from there I transported everything over to Tableau, have all the data here, and then I started by creating my first visual. And here I have the pricing data, the variable cost, contribution margin ratio for all the products and by region. So this was kind of a broad display just so you can see all the information. Hasn't really highlighted everything. It's from descending to increasing order, and we can see here just some things that jump out like life insurance and professional. Looks like they maybe are on the opposite ends, professional being the highest. So that was something that I thought of playing with. And then I just used a lot of variables to get this information. So the insurance type, region, and then I drilled down to get all this information. So from there, I went to find just which were the best salespeople. I figured this would be good information maybe to give me some insight on the region. Maybe one region performs better. At first, I believed that the Midwest performed better, but after looking at this, I noticed that they had the most amount of people. So this, to me, made me assume that they just had more to work with, whereas the Mid-Atlantic had 3, and it looks like their people contributed more. So from here, I decided to look at just the products by salespeople again. To see the trends in information. So I only focus on contribution margin ratio and contribution margin, since I feel this is a better indicator of revenue and profit. So from there, I noticed that our life insurance provided the highest contribution margin ratio, and professional insurance provided the most contribution margin. So from there, I noticed that although life insurance didn't bring as much revenue, it had a bigger ratio. And then professional brought the most revenue of all of them, as you can see down here below. And so then that led me to look at just professional insurance by itself. So here I can see each quarter and by region. And that led me to focus on just one specific region, since I felt it would be too much to cover the whole U.S. and all of the states. So I just focused on the Mid-Atlantic. So I noticed that the best, or the overall grossing state, was first New Jersey, then New York, and so on and so forth. And from this, I got to see just sales data from Q1 for this region. And then from there, I made a sheet to show this region and then all the quarter sales. And then from here, I also can look at the bar for which states perform best. So I can see here in Q1, let's see, New Jersey, their professional insurance, it looks like it increased throughout the year. So it started low in Q1 and it continued to go up. And then down here I have just the total pricing from the sales of insurance. And then finally, where I made my recommendation in my story. You can see here the cost chart for the variable cost for the sale of the products. It seems that auto insurance has the highest variable cost of all of the products. When I looked at it in other graphs, it seemed to be that case in all the states and all the regions. And then second, being disability, and then home, and then life looks like it has the lowest, which would add to what I saw at the beginning. It had a smaller, or it had a bigger contribution margin ratio, even though it provides small amounts of revenue. So I recommended here to perhaps try and lower this, or maybe increase life insurance revenue to maybe offset some of this auto insurance expenses. Aside from that, I didn't go too much more in depth. And so lastly, from all of this, I did learn a lot of analytical tools. Just on a base level, I learned that graphs can have a lot more content than just two variables, and portray a lot more information. And then just seeing something visual like this really can drive a point home. These skills that I've learned on this actually is something that I look forward to adding onto my resume. And I've worked actually at Verizon Wireless, and this was something that they were trying to integrate. So this is a great tool to help me and work now and then possibly in the future.